So the thing is, you can measure the impact of your promotional programs. For example, there's something called the birthday after recall scores. And what they do is they see how do you respond to like TV commercials or something like that. And the biggest thing about advertising is, do you actually remember what the product is? I mean, this is why like Dos Equis or Geico have such good commercials. The Geico commercials are hit and miss. Although I did really like the one with the stuntman cheating death. Dos Equis, the most interesting man in the world. You remember the product as well as the commercial, and because it's humorous, everybody remembers a good joke. There are different tracking studies. You can find out your digital stuff through click rates and things like that. And so what you're interested in is how long is this going to carry over? What's the lag? Meaning how long is it until people start picking up on it? And the thing about digital is you can find these things out in real time. In terms of how much you're going to spend, you have to basically model this is how much we spend and this is how much money we're getting out, and looking at the performance of each and every step. In terms of looking at response functions, whether you do a kind of metric analysis, and that's to see how your variables change over time. Decision calculus is when you take something that's qualitative and can you put a quantitative measurement on it so you could track it and actually extract it. And that's when you start getting to designing experiments and things like that. No, I'm not going to quiz you on this. I'm just showing you what it is. An example of a company's promotion, let's take Uber. And the thing is, Uber only had 4 people to start out with. Although Kalanick and his partner were both millionaires already, they're very good, successful entrepreneurs. That's a big difference than like where all of you are at. But what they wanted to do is prove their beta that will work in San Francisco. So they wanted to get as much reach as possible. So what did they use? They depended on Twitter. And then what did they also do? To try to get people over that chasm, because originally you get a real passionate group. Discounts and promotion, so they would spread. They used press and publicity to try to get attention. So in terms of Uber's campaign, what did they focus on? Their website, they went to Twitter, they had people write about them in blogs as well as their own blogs. But the big thing that Twitter did first is being a two-sided market. It's like chicken or the egg. Do you go for the drivers first or the customers first? And they realized there's no lack of customers, of people needing a ride in San Francisco. So they secured the drivers first. And then they've used their brand to expand like Uber boats and things like that. There are weaknesses to what they do though, and that's that there's no lock-in of drivers. You could be a driver for Lyft and Uber if you want to. The surge pricing has created a lot of negativity because people don't always know what to expect. There's a famous story of the woman who needed to get to the airport, and then a snowstorm hit, and next thing she knows is she's getting a bill from Uber for like $500 or something like that. The thing is, there isn't equity participation for Uber, and models are coming out right now. They're showing that you don't make money on Uber for the amount of time that you put in, the wear and tear in your car, and everything else. The advantage of doing Uber, though, is like, for example, fixing my car because I'm using it more for driving people is something we tangibly don't think is that important. It's because it's something that's going to happen in the future that we're going to have to pay for. So actually, even though Uber may not make economic sense, Uber is a good way to get cash up front if you're in need of cash. The other thing about Uber is they've been fighting a lot of regulatory, meaning they've been thrown out of Texas, they've been thrown out of China. So there are context events they have to deal with. Now Juno is a fast follower, and they looked at what Uber did, and essentially they made moves to respond to them. They decided to first focus on New York City, and the big thing about Juno, which is different than Uber is for their most frequent drivers. They give them equity participation. They can end up owning shares of the company. So what Juno did is basically look at the mistakes Uber did and they're correcting them. And that's what fast followers do. So we now embark on the next step of what promotion is about, and that's branding. And branding, along with strategy, is one of those words in guerrilla marketing, or probably the terminology that most gets abused. But there is a basis behind it, and there is a way to measure it.